A university at Buffalo graduate survived the earthquake and tsunami that devastated northeastern Japan yesterday. Now he's sharing his incredible story with News 4 through Facebook.
Among all the commotion and chaos after the biggest earthquake to hit in over 100 years was UB graduate Victor Alessi. Victor was one of several thousand people looking for answers, and as it turns out, the fastest way to his wife and children, who were in two separate places. The phones were down, so through Facebook, we were eventually able to hear his story. Victor writes, "I was at my desk when suddenly the earthquake started right before 3 p.m. Usually we're used to earthquakes and pretty much nobody moves, but that earthquake was getting longer and longer and stronger. Victor says when he and his coworkers finally made it out of the building, the entire city was shaking. He says that's when he realized his day and thousands of others was far from over. Victor posted this comment. "What was scary for a non-Japanese was to see the Japanese's faces around us, as it seems like it was the strongest earthquake they'd ever experienced. People started to realize as well that people must have died somewhere in Tokyo or Japan." Victor says people quickly pulled out their cell phones. The network was shut down, but in Japan, you can watch TV on your cell phone. Victor says it turns out that was the only thing working. But he says finding out where the center of the quake hit only made him and several others more afraid that their families may not have survived. About an hour after the quake, Victor says he was allowed back into his office to use the landline. As it turns out, his wife was okay, and she had also found out so were their children. Victor says it was at this point that word came of a tsunami and possible aftershocks throughout the night. He writes, "At this point, I wanted to be with my wife, so I decided to walk to her office and try to find a way. If we had to die, I thought, better with my wife and kids." Victor would eventually make it to his wife and spent the night at a school where food and water was being handed out. The two would make it throughout the night, and after a $200 cab ride the next morning, Mom and Dad were reunited with their children.
Now, there are several ways you can help the victims in Japan. The Red Cross is accepting donations through its website, redcross.org. You can also donate $10 by texting Red Cross to the number 90999 or by calling the Salvation Army at 1-800-SAL-ARMY.